Okay. All right, I'm going to turn it over to our greeter this morning, Patrick Crawford. Good morning, Patrick.
All right. Good morning. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it. We know that everybody has a lot of busy things going on, so it means a lot for us, for y'all to be able to join us here today and learn a little bit about this program. As Tricia said, my name is Patrick Crawford, and just to give you a little bit of background on my connection with Volunteers of America, my wife, Haley, worked here for a number of years. And when we had our second child, she started to stay at home, but we love this mission so much and everything that Volunteers of America did for the community. We just wanted to figure out how do we stay very tightly connected. The way that I weaseled my way in was to beg everybody there to let me onto the board, which they did. And so here I am today. And, you know, the Volunteers of America does a lot of extremely great things. One of those big focuses being, of course, the help with veterans. And so we're really excited for y'all to be able to hear a little bit about that today, to learn a little more. And so again, we just really appreciate you being here. And with that, I will turn it over to the man, the myth, the legend, Chuck. Perfect transition.
Well, oh my, I'm speechless. Patrick, thank you. Thank you for your service on the board of directors, and to you and Haley for your continued interest in and support of what we do. And today, and I join Patrick in welcoming everybody. We are getting really close to being in person, and I look forward to being able to see the faces and look into the eyes of people who join us on our monthly tours. That's a month or so away, and again, I look forward to that. You know, I was thinking earlier today, and as I look at the participant list today, most of you have heard Chuck's story and his story about the church without walls and whatnot. So I'll just give a couple of updates, but we're going to focus on why we all joined the Zoom today, which is to learn more about our veteran services or get an update on it. But I was thinking earlier, 125 years this organization has been around, and as you all know, we found our way to Shreveport in 1935 and continue to really help transform lives, and in doing so make for a stronger community. So thanks. There are many of my colleagues and coworkers on here. Thank you for what you do each and every day. As you all know, we focus in primarily 4 areas: children and families living in poverty, homeless veterans and families, people with disabilities, and senior adults. And we just have started our new year. So again, Happy New Year to everybody. And the board at our meeting last week approved budget for 2021, 2022. Can you all believe that? Just seems like it's some kind of fantasy out there. But approved a budget of around $17 million, and the gap between what we receive primarily from government to all of what we do for those 4 areas I mentioned, and what we need, the gap this year is $2.5 million. And as of this morning, thank you, Debbie, for pulling the numbers, but with grants and with our distribution from our endowment to help support our operating budget, we have $731,639. So we're on the way. We have not stopped referring to it as a gap of uncertainty because we're still feeling some effects from the pandemic on revenue and on expenses. As of today, that is the amount that we've received. So let's get to what we really want to hear about today. And Gary, I'm going to turn it over to you. And thank you all again for joining us today.
Thanks, Chuck. As always, I appreciate everybody joining us. Looks like we've got a group of staff, and I always appreciate that for everybody willing to learn about what it is that we do. So, Trisha, we're gonna move on. Okay, so here today, we just want you to walk away knowing what we do to serve veterans, how we do it, and why we do it. So just kind of give you a brief timeline. In 2009, Rittenberg's approached Volunteers America and said, would you help us serve homeless veterans? And which is what brought us to what we call our Veterans Transitional Living Program, which opened in 2010. And again, focused on homeless veterans with also secondary issues, PTSD, maybe substance abuse issues. And when we opened the doors, we got real bit busy really quick, but I'm pleased to say, as it stands right now, we know of, because I'm a part of Hope Connections group that we meet every 2 weeks, we've got 3 homeless veterans that we know right now today that are living on the streets. So basically what I'm saying to kind of transition to this, the transitional living program has kind of moved into more of a treatment type program, where we're also serving folks that have a mental health disorder, and it could be primarily it's like PTSD, maybe depression, those sorts of things, but also substance abuse issues, which obviously cause housing instability. And then in 2011, we got a pretty substantial grant to offer financial resources to help people that were facing homelessness to either pay their rent and utilities to remain where they were, or if somebody was on the street, to rapidly rehouse them into housing, like first month's rent, security deposit, and ongoing support and case management. In 2013, we kind of veered off from our course a little bit in terms of the structured treatment program that Veterans Transitional Living Program is, and then we opened Low Barrier Safe Haven Program, which means exactly what it sounds like. We have people that come directly to us that maybe actively have a substance abuse problem or have an active mental illness. There are no barriers. We don't judge them. We just ask them to come in, get off the streets. Let's get some food in you, get you shelter over your head, and then hopefully we can engage them into more structured treatment. And then in 2015, we partnered with the VA, and of course, all of these are VA programs, and the Capital District Court and Louisiana Department of Corrections to open a Veterans Court, which really is, I used to say it was the first one, but it's actually the second one after New Orleans, but to actually provide folks that had barriers, like legal barriers, because what we determined in working with folks at our transitional living program is that if there were legal barriers, that affects housing, affects employment. And so if they go through the program, it's a 15-month program now. If they go through the program, they have a conviction, they plead guilty to it. If they go through the entire program, it's expunged at the end of through the end of the program. And so we're really proud of everything we've done, particularly if you look at where we started to where we are now. It's really become what I call a great arc of services. Actually, Phyllis was going to take this role on, and I have to fill in for her. She got engaged with something else right now, but Phyllis is our program director, and she's also a veteran. And actually, a very interesting story. Phyllis and I met, and I'm going to tell everybody the story. Since we're all co-workers here, I poached her from another program within VA, within Volunteers America, but she and I met during the beginning of COVID, and she is a veteran. Her husband's a veteran, and so she really is passionate about what she does. Her background is substance abuse and mental health and serving veterans, so it was an absolute perfect fit. So basically what we do in a nutshell, while it's a very structured program, we provide housing, meals, counseling, which is intensive clinical counseling. These are by professionals that are licensed. And we focus on intensive treatment for the veterans to overcome their personal issues, like substance abuse and mental health that we refer to. Our outcomes, 2019 through 2020, 44% of 56 veterans completed the program. That may not sound great, but if you think about what we're dealing with on the front end, we find that to be pretty significant. We've had folks that have been with us a couple of times, and we always say to ourselves internally that we never know when they're finally going to, treatment's finally going to work. So actually, this might just look like a bus stop, but one of our donors' kids, Trisha, you might want to chime in here, from college, Loyola built this for us. And it was started out as a bus stop, but Phyllis mentioned to us yesterday that, a lot of our veterans just like to get outside just to decompensate, just sit outside, just get some peace. And that's where they sit at. So it's not just, it serves multiple purposes. So additionally, just as a side note, Home Depot has been great at helping us landscape the property and keep it maintained. So this is kind of if you were actually literally on the tour, this is our virtual tour. So this is kind of like our front lobby as you walk in. It also serves multiple purposes. You can see there are computers in the back that veterans can access, those who don't have laptops. Now because we're fully Wi-Fi accessible, a lot of our vets have iPads and iPhones and those sorts of things. And if they don't, the VA actually provides them with those. But this also serves multi-purposes. They have groups in here. They have treatment groups. And so it's just a great use of space. The next spot is kind of just it's kind of like a courtyard area in the middle of the building. A lot of our veterans ride bicycles, as you can tell. It's just a safe place for them to store them if they don't want to take public transport. Fortunately, we're only less than a mile away from the VA, so a lot of them ride to and from on their bicycles, and we encourage that just for exercise. And this is Miss Carol. She's one of our frontline staff. That she is what we call in the nerve center of the program, which is where all the video cameras, surveillance, all of our medication is stored. This is the person that everybody comes to, who sits in that chair 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're there to support them. And Ms. Carroll's also, I'm proud to say, a veteran as well. This is our day room. As you can see, we've got video games, TVs. It's just a place for folks to relax, but also it serves a multi-purpose as well. We also hold groups in there. There's books for folks to read. And this is kind of the one room that we dedicated a long time ago for sports. And then we move in, if you're coming down this way toward the dining room. And Trisha did a great job setting the slides up. We go into our dining room, and this is the room that it's kind of a sports-free zone most of the time, unless there's multiple games going on. But this is where folks watch the news, local and national. And then our kitchen, we serve 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, not just to this program, but we also serve our Safe Haven program out of this kitchen, and we are now serving Visions of Hope out of this kitchen as well. So this kitchen serves multiple folks. We, years ago, we had a group volunteer to put up our container garden, and so we grow our own vegetables, and a lot of veterans really find that therapeutic. And so it's been an amazing thing that's been kept up over the years. And just outside view of our laundry facility, just, all of our veterans do their own laundry. Recently, that covering was added over the, just to give them some kind of protection from the elements. And again, I believe that was through a Home Depot grant as well. And then just kind of give you kind of a base look at what are the rooms that our veterans have. Obviously, our space is so limited that we had to set each of our rooms up this way, where people have limited amounts of clothing they can bring. We have a pretty large storage room outside that people can rotate their clothing in and out if, from winter to summer and changing. But we ask everybody to keep it as neat as they can. And so to this, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Brown. Trisha, do you see if he's on?
I do see that he has joined us.
Mr. Brown, I'm going to hand this over to you.
Can you hear me?
We can, yes. Good morning.
Good morning. How is everyone?
We're doing really
Great.
well. Doing well.
Okay. Well, my name is Brent Brown. I'm from a small town in Rayville, Louisiana. I joined the military in 1986. I got out in 1990 and was called back in January of 91 for Desert Storm. I came to this program after having some problems in my life with addiction. And I came to this my second time here at the VOA. I learned a lot the first time. The program was very helpful. I was able to stay clean and sober for 3 years and 7 months until I ran another situation about relationships. And so I came back to the program to help restart my recovery and to learn the things I need to know because, you know, in life you have to deal with other things than just drugs and alcohol. And there's some things my recovery was so important to me that I wasn't paying attention to other areas I needed to build on. And so unfortunately, I'm back, but it's a very good program here. I would recommend that any veteran that's struggling with addiction or trying to get themselves back on their feet because of whatever reason, this COVID is here in the land. But it's a very good program. And since the addition to Ms. Brown, she's added so much more to the aspect of our recovery program. And she worked endlessly on giving us all the support we need. And the whole staff is excellent. It's an excellent staff here. But especially for me that I suffer from this disease of addiction, Ms. Brown and her knowledge of the 12 steps and stuff, it really helped me to refocus. And so my new goals today is to own my own car wash detail shop and to own a house cleaning business for my future. But I would advise any veteran that is struggling with managing life or suffering from an addiction to try this program out. I believe it's one of the best, if not the best program in this area.
Trisha, you're mute.
Trisha, you're on mute too. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Brent, and a little bit about living at the home with everybody. Are there any questions for Mr. Brown or for Gary? Any comments? Well, Patrick, thank you so much for being our greeter this morning. I'm going to stop sharing our screen. Just in case anybody wants to add anything or talk, y'all feel free to unmute yourself. And I know we're all kind of like family here this morning, so we'll do it a little bit more informally. But if there's anything you want to say or add, feel free to do it now.
Well, I just want to thank Brent and on behalf of the entire group, and also speak on behalf of the entire group and wishing you the very best going forward. We're pulling for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, Gary, you did a great job this morning walking us through our virtual tour. We appreciate it. And we hate that Phyllis couldn't join, but we know she was tied up, and that's the life of our program staff. Things come up every single day. We know that. And so thank you all for joining us this morning. I want to remind everybody we are going to have our August tour. It will be virtual. We're kind of going to decide where to go from there, but we at least know that August will be another virtual tour, and it will highlight our Vision of Hope program, which y'all know is just a wonderful day program. Pastor Henson, I know Church for the Highlands, the ministry, y'all do so much for the clients over there. So we're excited to tell everybody in the community about that wonderful program in August. So that'll be August 4th at 11 a.m. As y'all know, these are really short. So if y'all have any friends, family, be sure and share it on social media. Mr. Brown, Brent, thank you so much again. And I'll have his story. I'll share it on social media with his picture. So y'all feel free to share that post and just so that everybody knows, you know, what's going on in the work that we do in veteran services. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining this morning, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Thanks a lot, y'all.
Thanks, Tricia.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye, all.
Patrick.
Y'all
Take
have a
care.
wonderful evening.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, you too.